Very good sign here this morning in Surfside. In fact, looking up the beach, I can see bird schools, birds working up on the beach, picking bait off. I just saw a bird right there pick off a bait. This is a relatively small bird school, but there's been some really giant ones this morning. And of course, there has been some great early season surf fishing going on for yellowfin croaker, spotfin croaker, halibut, and several other different species. The water is warm, I can feel it coming up on my feet right now, over 60 degrees. It's beautiful down here, and the reason these birds are coming so close to the beach is because some kind of bait or fry or something is attracting them. And of course, if that's in the water, you get a very good opportunity to take some surf fish. Wow, up toward the jetty, the birds are right on the beach picking, and all the rest of the birds are seeing that and heading in that direction down there. So that is something that you definitely have to keep in mind. Watching for these birds and moving down right there, get on that, get a lucky craft on it, get something on it. Bait has been super effective down here. We'll continue looking around and see maybe if we can't find Bill Varney from fishingthesurf.com snooping around. I got a feeling Bill might be around here this morning. We'll try to find him. I don't know if you can see it, but see all the bait right here on the beach? I don't know. I hope you can. Oh man, there's just a massive amount of bait right here on the beach right now. Look at that. Oh, they're up and jumping around, and you know there's got to be fish on this. This is so juicy here. And like I said, I hope you can see what I'm seeing here. It is really magnificent. And now we know why all these birds are in here and what they're doing here. Oh, look at the bait here. Oh man, a lucky craft right in the middle of that. Oh, this looks so juicy, right? I can reach out and touch all this bait right now. It is true. See if you can hear it splashing around. Oh, look down at my feet. See all this bait going through? Just a ton. Looks like chovy. It is up on the beach. I don't know if you, oh my God. This is freaking awesome. Oh, it's all over my legs. I can feel it. There's so much bait zooming down here. Bait everywhere on the beach. Predators gonna come in here to feed on it. There's gotta be halibut. There's got to be more game fish. And I'm gonna get knocked on my butt here in about 2 seconds. Wow. That explains the birds and everything else. Just awesome down here this morning. Hey Brian, good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What a day, huh?
It's beautiful.
So you are obviously, I see the stripping basket, and you're fly fishing the surf. How successful are you at doing that?
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. There's some days when, you know, the guys with the sand crabs will kill them, and on other days they'll get nothing, and the fly guys will get something. You know, I like to fish everything.
And
I like to fish.
Do you try to match the hatch when you're fishing a fly? Do you pick a particular fly, or?
Lefty Cray used to say, if it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use, you know. But this part of the world, I've found that anything that's sort of orange, browny, looks wiggly, looks like food, I'll take fish. Clouds just never fail. You know, chartreuse clouds are all over white cloud.
Brian, it's funny you mentioned Lefty Cray because I haven't seen my good friend Nick Curcione for many, many years. I don't know if you know Nick or read any of his books, but he was a huge saltwater fly guy, and he loved Lefty and was a good friend of Lefty's. Just a small world, isn't it?
Well, Lefty Cray is kind of like he's a universal figure, you know, and one of the pioneers of saltwater fly fishing. And yeah. I spent 20 years in Chilie in South America, so I kind of did the freshwater thing. You know, a lot of guys fly fishing the surf down there, you know. One good coastline in the world. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have to tell you, Brian, what a pleasure it is to meet you. And the stories, if you stop to talk to people, and I know you're trying to fish and I'm bugging you a little bit, but it's really interesting living in South America. How was that experience for you?
It was different. You know, it's got the longest coastline in the world. It's about, if you start from Oslo in Norway, and go to Lagos in West Africa. That's about the length of it. And you know, fly fishing the surf is it's kind of in its infancy down there. It's obviously very much overshadowed by, you know, the spectacular river and lake fishing, especially down the Patagonia area. It's one of the few countries that, you know, Santiago is a city of 10 million people, and within a 40-minute drive of the centre of Santiago, a couple of little rivers that just run off at the back end of the Andes Mountains, and you know, you can get up there and maybe walk and not see anything for 3 days.
Wow.
And you know, on its day you'll get 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4-pound wild rainbow or brown trout. Very discreet, very secret. You know, you need the property owner permission to get in, but you know, where there's people, unfortunately, sites get overfished, you know.
Yes.
A little bit like this area, you know, the guys at the minute, they're saying, oh, where the perch, what's happened, there's no perch this year. I'm sure they're out there. But, you know, the catch and release debate goes on. Some guys come down here and they've got their buckets and they take fish and they want to eat them, that's fine. Really don't care.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Tom Raptigan, runs the Sport Fishing Conservancy, and he says, and I like this, and I think you might agree, with great fishing comes great responsibility.
Of course. You know, if you have the resource, you really do have to protect it, and I guess at the end of the day, it's like everything else, it's accountability, isn't it? You know, I still remember the first time I actually saw somebody fishing in Chile. It was in a little river near Concepcion before they dammed off the Bio Bio, and we were at a Sunday afternoon barbecue, long holiday weekend. Everybody had been having a few sherbets and recovery, and I saw this kid, must have been 9 or 10, and he was fishing, and he was here in front of me, and his rod was like a 6-foot bamboo cane. His guides was a single piece of, like a loop of metal in the end, like a coat hanger, and his reel was a coffee can. And this kid, I watched him, and every movement was precision, it was precise. He got a little fish every cast, a little thing for his micros, and I followed that kid up the river watching him. I think I learned more about how to read a river watching that kid. You know, he was fishing for the family. He was keeping everything he got.
Subsistence fishing.
I can go in there with my, you know, my ethics and stuff, and my catch and release ethic, but you can't you can't fault a guy for fishing to feed his family, can you? So here I think Southern California still has a lot of discreet fishing. You know, I spent a lot of time in my float tube in San Diego Bay. And for some reason, even on Facebook, spotted bass now seem to be spotted bay bass, kind of like fish that were kind of previously ignored, but now people have found that they're great sport fish.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I'm sitting there and I've got the guys tend to use anything from 6 to 8 weight rods, you know, in the tubes. And I took the wrong rod one day, and I ended up fishing. I was fishing with a Hardy 7'2" 3-weight because I took the wrong rod out and it was dark and I didn't notice that was a rod I had, and I've used it ever since. You know, you get a 10-inch spotted bass on that thing. Was designed by Hardy Brothers to throw a size 16 upwards dry fly precisely on a little English chalk river. I'm sitting in San Diego Bay and I'm throwing 2 size 4 lead-headed crazy downs with it in my tube, you know.
That's great.
So it's
Hey, I got another question. ¿Hablas español?
Sí, señor.
Ah, ¿de veras?
Sí. Después de 20 años en un país latino, tiene que aprender, ¿no?
Qué bueno, yo...
Ahí no hay marca uno por inglés allá.
Ah, muy bien, sí, yo entiendo.
Estás en Chile y aprendí a hablar español.
Qué bueno, me alegro. Y yo no sé si vas a creer eso, pero yo tengo un show en el radio que es en español.
¿Sí?
cada sábado y domingo, y nosotros tenemos que tenerte en nuestro show muy pronto porque eres tan interesante. Vamos, ¿verdad?
Va a ser un placer.
Ah, qué bueno.
Si tengo... Mi schedule está bastante...
¿Lleno?
No, distinto.
Ah, bueno.
Variable.
Muy
Y
bien.
mucho depende de la pesca.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Sí, señor.
Hey, Brian, suerte y gracias por su tiempo.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, muy amable. Well, I didn't find my friend Bill Varney from fishingthesurf.com, but I'll see him at the Fred Hall show for sure. And meeting Brian Jackson, what a pleasure, how interesting, what a fine gentleman. And he's a rugby player, and that's appropriate because I'm heading off to San Jose, actually to Stanford University, when my son Patrick and his great teammates play Stanford Saturday. Looking forward to that game, and a pleasure being with you all. I hope you can hit the surf soon, but as you look up, there's an ominous sign. Some clouds starting to move in. A lot of wind this weekend, very dangerous. So stay safe this weekend, and thanks again for joining us here at PFO. We'll see you at the Fred Hall Show, booth 1823.